What's going on, casters? Dylan from Pandito Gaming here, back again with another video. And in today's video, we're continuing our series on packaging individual cards. Now, today's topic, we're going to be talking specifically about how do you package bulk cards? How do you send more than 10 cards at once? Now, this video is primarily targeted towards situations where you're trying to send, I'd say probably about more than 20 cards. In general, you can use plain white envelopes to send up to 10 at a time. When I get an order of 20 cards, you know, as long as it's not too high in value, I'll usually split that into two separate envelopes. Individual envelopes, everything included, like I said in the last video, is around 90 cents each. Getting two of those is still about $2. Shipping these in bulk using bubble mailers or boxes, as we'll get into, usually runs around $5 to $8, depending on how much you're shipping. Obviously, if you're sending in massive bulk, if you're talking about thousands of cards, it can get more expensive. But in these numbers, we're talking about anywhere between like 20, maybe like 100 to 200 cards. This is probably one of the easiest ways to handle shipments. So I just realized I really apologize. Again, a second time in a week, I just did not clean up my area. I'm sorry for the trash that's on my table. I'll make sure for the next video there's nothing there. But let's dive into what it looks like to package these kinds of cards. So you'll see here, I have roughly 50 cards here that I'm going to use for my demonstration. There's obviously multiple different ways that you can package stuff. If you all have your own way of packaging, make sure you leave that down in a comment. Let me know what kinds of things you do for your shipments, but this is just how I handle mine. So I will always start by collecting all of my cards. Make sure you sort the cards. Generally, I try to put them in the order that the person ordered them, so that they can just go in through their order slip and just make sure all the right cards are there. It makes it easier for me as well. Ordering your cards is really important. It helps you make sure everything's in the right place. For cards that are under $5, I will normally just leave them without a sleeve. You can double, triple, quadruple them up into sleeves, and that works just fine. For cards that are more expensive, you can still use it to package this way. You know, if it gets really more expensive, you're talking like, say, you have a Stellar that you're selling or something worth, you know, more than $20, $30. You can always put it into the hardback top loaders, and it still works in this method. So I'll walk you through that in this too. But the key thing that you need here is a team bag. If you all have never seen this, it's just a very small plastic bag. They used to ship Shattered Stars in these. You can get these in bulk for about 10, 15 cents, even cheaper if you buy them in a lot. And these will hold roughly 50 to 60 Elestrals cards in them. You can really just slide them right in. Sometimes it takes a few at a time. If you have extras, if you have some that won't fit in on the first slide, it's always easier to push them down in the back, because it just slides more cleanly against the back with that. This is, like I said, around 50. I think I have 55 in here total. This is probably where it's too tight. I'm not going to push any more on that. So this ended up fitting about 50 total in here. If you do have more valuable cards, you can slide the top loaders in here. The biggest thing that I will always make sure to tell people is make sure that something in a sleeve is touching the top loader. You don't want the raw cards pushing up directly against the top loader, but these will fit nice and snug in here. Whenever you fit everything in here that you need, if you have a top loader, it will fill up the whole space. You'll see that this will touch the edges. The loose cards will not. So in the situation where you have just loose cards, I will normally seal up the bag here just like this, if I can get this off. That's the risk of doing things live, you know. I fold it over. You make sure it's nice and tight so that the cards can't move vertically. It should not move when you shake it. What I then will normally do is I will cut this bottom part off here so that you can get rid of excess air. And then I will take a piece of tape and I will just tape it over to remove the horizontal space as well. This way it can't move inside the bag. There's no risk of it bouncing back and forth. And these are pretty much just as safe as if you had them in a sleeve directly. Because there's a lot of cards together, It won't bend or break, so you don't have to worry. Like, the top loader is not super necessary here. Like I said, I use it for the more expensive cards. And then I will take this and I will wrap it in bubble wrap. Now, you don't technically need to do this step, but especially if you're doing a bubble mailer, this prevents the bag or the cards from sliding around in the envelope, and that helps it from getting damaged. And it's also just an extra layer of protection. I've never had a card damaged like this. Every time I've sent cards like this, they've always arrived in a great shape. So this is normally what I'll do. And if this is it, these are the two bubble envelopes I use the most. These mailers, this one costs about 12 cents when you buy it in bulk. This one's about 20, 22 because it's bigger. This is great for one package. If you have one team bag worth, this will easily fit the set of 50. You just slide it on in. Like I said, it won't move. It doesn't shake at all. You can use the bigger bubble mailer, and this will fit up to 3 of these packages together. You can just slide them in horizontally like this, and then you can fold it as much as you need to do that. Like I said, each of these will cost anywhere between $5 and $8 to ship because the rural rules that came out for USPS, sometimes it just always costs up to what the pound costs. If you want to be more secure, especially if you have those higher value cards, you can also use a box. This box here specifically is a 6x5x4. These cost about 25-30 cents in bulk, and they are the exact same price to order that, or to ship, that the bubble mailers are. So there's not really any problem with using the box. The key is just making sure you can't just drop it inside and expect it to be okay. And we'll get more into this when we talk about shipping bigger things like sealed products, but you always need to make sure you are using void filler. So whether you're using bubble wrap or packing paper, either one's fine. What you do is you take that package, you wrap it up, you leave the paper nice and loose, and you just push it right down into the box. And then when you seal the box, you shake it, it doesn't move. That's the key there. When you're using boxes, avoid void space as much as you can. Other tips that I would recommend, something important when it comes to shipping, try not to print out the labels yourself using like a laser ink printer. Try to get a thermal label printer. That will save you tons of money. It will cost you $20 to $50 up front, but those labels have adhesive on them, so you're not wasting tape, and you don't have to waste printer ink printing out on regular paper. Make sure you're using a system like ShipStation or Pirate Ship or PayPal Ship to order your labels, because you'll get anywhere between 10 and 30% off your shipping charges. If you buy postage at the post office, they will mark you up on it. It's not very fun. But yeah, that's more or less all the tips that I have when it comes to sending cards in bulk, somewhere between 20 and 100 cards. Make sure if this was helpful, if you learned anything new or you figure out something that you want to try different to your strategy, leave a like, comment on the video with anything that you have, and subscribe to the channel so you can get more. Next up in the series, we'll talk about shipping more expensive cards, things that are more in the $200 to $1,000 range, and we'll probably cover slabs in that too, just as a fun endeavor. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We're out.